Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Betting Insights. I'm Timothy, of course, alongside Sergio. Sergio again.
Hey,
Welcome.
Tim. Hey, everybody.
Yes, as you know, we are giving out picks for 5 different club competitions across Europe: Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, Eredivisie, and the Premier League. Now, we are doing this for every match week. Now, next week, no club competition, international break. This week, we will be looking to, let's say, end with a bang. So, um, if you're new to the show, be sure to subscribe. Also, smash the like button. Let's get right to it. Now, today we'll start with the Eredivisie, and first game is Utrecht hosting NEC. Utrecht wins set at 1.8. NEC wins set at 4.9. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, NEC winless in 6. There's some urgency to win again, and you kind of saw that last week. But the red card kind of it ruined the game for them. Utrecht, they bounced back to back wins. Kind of had trouble putting in a Willem to aside, but still, I think the urgency for NEC will continue in this game. So I do believe they'll score. If Utrecht were to win this game, they should score more than once. I'm not confident Utrecht wins this game. I'm looking at both teams to score sitting at 1.62 or over 2.5 sitting at 1.65. A slightly less value than Utrecht winning the game, but I think that has a higher chance of hitting. What are you doing here?
Yeah, like you said, NEC didn't win in 6, so that means that they're coming ever closer. Last week, disappointing. And Utrecht, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they'll win this. I rather go for a double chance. NEC, Utrecht, they had a lot of trouble with Willem II last week. So NEC is it's really urgent for them to win. So I would go for a double chance NEC.
That's not a bad play, and it also gives you slightly more value than both teams to score and over 2.5. So that's also a good play. I like the both teams to score or the over 2.5. Two separate plays for this game. Like I said, I agree with everything you said. Urgency for NEC, so they will score. I expect goals in this game. All right, next up, Sparta hosting PEC. Sparta wins set at 1.64. PEC wins 5.8. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, I know PEC's struggling at the moment, but I don't think Sparta's that good to play Sparta at 1.64. So I'm not looking to play anything in this game. Do you have a player?
Yeah, but I think the odds for the Sparta are way too low. I think for no reason because Sparta isn't that good. So Swallow still has a good chance to win this game. But I would maybe the over 2.5, maybe. But other than that, I'll agree with you.
All right. So actually, both skipping this game, which is good. Next up, RKC hosting PSV. RKC wins set at 13. PSV wins set at 1.22. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, PSV, after also struggling, they, let's say, bounce back with a win against Heerenveen. Just small win, 2-1. A draw against Arsenal midweek, but that game didn't mean anything after the 7-1 loss the first round. Now, RKC, obviously not a great team. Odds for PSV, too low. What if you want to bump up the odds, you could look at PSV halftime, full time. But PSV is not that good at the moment to think that they will come out on fire, especially after a midweek game on the road. So, actually skipping this game, do you have something here?
I would go for the PSG win and both teams to score. It's a odd of 2.33. PSV, it seems like they concede a goal every game. So it doesn't matter who they play against. So I would definitely do that. They'll still win because PSV they still have a very good team and RKC what are they 16th still
17th, second to
that
last.
even yeah so they'll score but PSV will definitely win so I would go for the PSV win and both teams to score.
Yeah, and like you have to keep the pressure on Ajax. Ajax also facing AZ. We'll get to that game. If you believe AZ has a chance to win this game, yeah, if you're PSV, you have to keep the pressure on Ajax. Right now, difference 8 points seems like a lot, but you gotta still have hope, right?
No, it doesn't seem like a lot. In the Eredivisie, it is a lot because because 8 points. Yeah, I don't think Ajax feels a lot of pressure at the moment, and especially not if PSV is the one that's second. So I would consider Ajax, maybe the winner of the league for now.
All right. Okay, next up, Heerenveen hosting Heracles. Heerenveen wins set at 1.79. Heracles wins set at 4.8. Line for Zorro goes 2.5. Now, Heerenveen, not a great team, but they're good at home. The last 20 home games, only one loss against Ajax, a 2-0 loss. Other than that, very solid at home. Of course, a couple of draws, but they usually win their home games. Now, going against a team that usually doesn't win the road games, they lose a lot. So I think it's a good spot to back Heerenveen here at 1.79. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Backing Heerenveen here would be, the smart thing to do. They played a good game against PSV. Had them sweating even the last few minutes. So yeah, I would at 1.8. I would go for the Heerenveen win. I agree.
All right. Next up, Go Ahead Eagles hosting Willem II. Go Ahead Eagles win set at 1.6. Willem II win set at 6.75. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Go Ahead Eagles, just a great team overall. Only one loss in the last 5 games. They score a lot, but they also allow a lot. So that's a little bit of concern. 46 goals scored, 40 allowed, while Willem II has allowed 41. So while Go Ahead Eagles is sitting seventh, Willem II is 16. They basically allowed the same amount of goals. So over 2.5 is a good look here. But obviously, I think Go Ahead Eagles will win this game at home, 1.6, slightly lower. What are you doing?
Um, it will be. I don't think it will be that easy for Go Ahead. Willem too, just like NEC, it's really urgent for them to win and Go Ahead. Um, Living on a cloud the last few weeks, winning from PSV 2 times, semifinals or even the finals for the cup. So I would think that this game would be one of the difficult ones for them for a few weeks. And NEC last week, it should have been that one, but now Willem too. So I would something tells me a double chance with Willem too, and I think I'm going to do that also.
Yeah, that's why I'm rather looking at the over 2.5. Like I said, they allow a lot of goals. Willem to also allow a lot of goals. So I think the over 2.5 is a better look than Go Ahead Eagles winning, and it gives you more value.
Yeah. I-
Next up, Groningen hosting Fortuna. Groningen wins set at 2.04. Fortuna wins set at 4. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, listen, man, I don't trust either of these teams, so this is not a game I'm looking to make a play on. Are you doing something here?
Maybe just both teams to score. That would be that would be it. But I lean towards Groningen. They're playing at home. Fortuna just a narrow win against RKC, and I wouldn't say they got a bit lucky against Amelo, Heracles last time out. So I would just go for the Groningen, and they're playing at home. So
Yeah, I would agree with a lean. I'm not making it more than a lean. Fortuna's obviously not great on the road. I think it's only 2 road wins this season. But Groningen is still allowing, sorry, they're averaging less than a goal a game. So 23 goals scored in 24 games. So um, I don't like those teams, right? Because if you want to win games, you need to score. Groningen, they don't score a lot. So like I would agree, not more than a lean, just a lean. All right. Next up, Twente hosting Feyenoord. Twente wins set at 2.33. Feyenoord wins set at 3.1. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, when this line opened up, I was like, are they crazy? Like, I get it. I get Twente, good team, favored at home. I understand. But I was like, it's still Feyenoord, right? So it should be closer to a pick 'em. But then I look closer and I agree with the line. Like Feyenoord, man, they've really been struggling the last few games. Also struggling to score goals, so that's a bit of concern. But I do like them to score in this game. So both teams to score at 1.62, actually slightly low value, but I think that's almost a safe play. I expect Twente to win this game because they've been great at home. What are you doing here?
Also going for Twente to win. Feyenoord, playing in midweek against Inter also,
Yeah.
and it was an away game. I'm sure. So yeah, so I would also go for the Twente win. Feyenoord not where they want to be, and Twente sitting on the fourth spot. I think they'll definitely want to keep it that way.
Yeah. And they're on a good streak at home winning games, so that should continue. All right. Next up, Ajax hosting Asset. Ajax wins set at 1.8. Asset wins set at 4.9. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Also a game where I understand why Ajax is favored, but it's kind of heavily, in my opinion. Both teams coming off a road game on Thursday. Ajax got beaten badly. AZ at least had a chance against Tottenham. For Ajax, it was over quick, so maybe their focus shifted quickly to this game, which should give them advantage. But both teams coming off a road game, I don't like that. What are you doing here?
Over 2.5. I'll just go for the over 2.5. Ajax will win. I think they'll win this one. I think they're slightly better than AZ, and they're playing at home. So yeah, but I would go for the over 2.5. Just a tiny bit more value.
Yes, that's true. All right, that wraps up the Eredivisie. Let's get to La Liga. First game, Valladolid hosting Celta. Valladolid wins set at 5.3. Celta wins set at 1.68. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Celta, not a great road team. They've really been struggling on the road. But listen, man, Valladolid is just flat out awful. 18 goals scored in 27 games. It doesn't get any worse than that. So if you're Celta, although I don't like them on the road, there's no other way to go than to back Celta here, right?
There's no other way for Celta to win an away game
Yeah.
against Valladolid. So yeah, I would just go for Celta here. And don't look at the over 2.5 because Valladolid won't score. I think will maybe be a 1 or 2-0. But yeah, Celta Figo.
All right. Next up, Mallorca hosting Espanyol. Mallorca wins set at 1.82. Espanyol wins set at 5.3. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, obviously, I'm not looking at the over 2.5 here at Mallorca Espanyol. Should be a low scoring game. Now, if you look at Espanyol's record, only one loss in the last 7 games, but that record's kind of inflated. If you look at the road record, man, they've won 2 road games this season. A lot of L's, not even many draws, only 2 draws, 2 wins. Aside from that, all losses. So although I'm not high on Mallorca,
Yeah, but I would Mallorca. I don't. I don't think so. This game, it looks more like a draw to me. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I think Mallorca they're off for a draw again. They don't play that well to win these kind of games. I know Espanyol is still 15. Yeah, but still, I don't think it's the difference between them is that big. So a draw for me.
All right. Obviously, I'm not too high on this game, but I like Mallorca to win. Next up, Villarreal hosting Real Madrid. Villarreal wins set at 3. Real Madrid wins set at 2.3. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, I think this. I know Real Madrid. They've been struggling a lot on the road in some games, coming off a technically a road game in the Champions League, but not a lot of travel. So I do like Real Madrid here. And listen, man, you won't get too many chances catching Real Madrid with an odd of over 2-1. Like 2.3, I know Villarreal, they've been playing well, but Villarreal is a team that really allows a lot of goals. So Real should get loose here. And obviously leveled on points with Barcelona. Barcelona has a game in hand, so they have to keep the pressure. Also keep Atletico Madrid away. Atletico Madrid also facing Barcelona this week. High motivation for Real Madrid here. I really like them. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. And Villarreal sitting on fifth, I think it's just um, they're sitting there because there's no one better. But so I would still go for a Madrid win. I agree. It was a long game against Atletico Madrid during the week. Extra time, penalties. So it won't be a spectacular game, but still, I would give the win to Madrid.
Yeah, and obviously well, you could say they lost the game against Atletico Madrid. They ended up winning on penalties, advancing on penalties. And before that, they lost the road game against Real Betis. So, um, and that's like the second time this season they've lost back-to-back in road games. Before against Liverpool and against Athletic Bilbao. So, if you count midweek as a loss, well, they're not losing three straight on the road. All
Yeah.
right. Next up, Girona hosting Valencia. Girona wins set at 1.98. Valencia wins set at 4.1. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now Valencia is slowly climbing their way up. Um, Now they're out of the relegation zone for the moment, only on a goal difference, but they're 17th right now. So they want to keep that up. And going against yeah, like a Girona team that's in a really struggling, man. They've won one game in the last 10. Not good. So I don't like Girona to win this game. I'm rather looking at both teams to score, sitting at 1.85. Girona winning is 1.98, so slightly less value, but only slightly. And I think that has a very high chance of hitting more than Girona winning this game. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. I would look maybe the over 2.5. That I think one of them will win, but both teams will score. So to make it a little bit easier for me, I would just go for the over 2.5.
Obviously, also not a bad look. All right, next up, Leganes hosting Real Betis. Leganes wins set at 4.2. Betis wins set at 2.02. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Leganes, one win in the last five, while Betis, five straight without a loss. I know they're coming off a road game on Thursday, but very comfortable win, 4-0. Should give them high confidence heading into this game. They're on the sixth spot right now. You want to push for the fifth spot, especially if Villarreal were to lose against Real Madrid, like we expect. Should give Betis some extra motivation. Now, Leganes also fighting to get out of the relegation zone. So both teams to score is also not a bad look at 1.92. But I do expect Betis to win this game, although not great on the road, but a good spot for them. What are you doing?
Yeah, Betis, yeah, good game during the week. It is, I think it will be, it's the last game before the, interland break. So I think it's important for them to win this one because after that, I don't know who they play after that, but I think it will be a more difficult game for them to win it. So I would still go for the Real Betis win.
After Leganes, they're hosting Sevilla.
Yeah, right. So I think that would be a little bit more difficult for them. So I
Yes,
would
and
just the over 2.5, maybe not, but just to win for Real Betis.
after Sevilla, they're going on the road against Barcelona, so the schedule doesn't get easier.
No, that's fine.
All right. Next up, Sevilla hosting Bilbao. Sevilla wins set at 3.1. Bilbao wins set at 2.6. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, over the last, let's call it 2 months after the winter break. Now, Bilbao, they haven't looked the same. Man, they've really been struggling. I know they won on Thursday, but Roma received a red card after 11 minutes. So that kind of made things easier for them. Sevilla also a team not very good. Um, so I think Bilbao coming off a road game on Thursday. Sevilla also a team that actually has a defensive approach. Bilbao, I wouldn't say a defensive approach, but also a team that usually doesn't allow too many goals. I think this will be a very slow-paced game. So I think under 2.5 should be the play here. What are you doing?
I was maybe thinking of about the over 2.5 because both teams to score and maybe just a Sevilla win. I think Sevilla's gonna win this game.
Okay, maybe. But listen, man. Okay, Sevilla, Bilbao, last 8 matches head to head, none of them have seen over 2.5 goals. So history should count for something here, and that it kind of fits the style of play for both teams, right? Under 2.5 goals. So Bilbao coming off a road game on Thursday, um, I think this would be 9 straight under 2.5. I think Sevilla could win this game. I'm sticking with the under 2.5.
Okay.
All right. Next up, Osasuna hosting Getafe. Osasuna wins set at 2.32. Getafe wins set at 3.8. Line for total goals set at 1.5. God damn it. 1.5. So they're not expecting a lot of goals. Neither am
I
I.
don't think they're expecting goals.
The, obviously it should be like a 1-0 win, but I would lean towards Osasuna here. They haven't won in 5. Getafe actually coming off a high, and man, they were very lucky last week. The game was actually going one way. Atletico Madrid received a red card. They scored 2 goals within 4 minutes. Um, Going on the road now against Osasuna. Obviously, Osasuna not a great team, but coming off a high, I would go with Osasuna here. Obviously, winless in 5, so they want to bounce back. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, I would think that it would just go like it's like they're sitting on a table, level on points, the 12th and 14th. So that means there's a team in the middle. But other than that, I think it will be. I'm just going for a draw.
Yeah, obviously a draw, not unlikely. I think Osasuna, I would still lean towards Osasuna. A double chance for Osasuna gives you 1.27. Also, obviously, that's low value. I'm taking a big swing, Osasuna winning here. Because Osasuna, at least they've scored 32 goals this season. Getafe only 23. So if I'm trusting a team, I'm trusting the team that at least can score goals. All right. Next up, Rayo hosting Sociedad. Rayo wins set at 2.48. Sociedad wins set at 3.25. Line for total goals again 1.5. And again, I agree with the 1.5. Also not expecting a lot of goals. Two teams that actually kind of the same style as the last game, Osasuna Getafe. Sociedad obviously a team that doesn't score too many goals. Neither does Rayo. But man, Sociedad coming off a road game on Thursday also received a red card. It was after 60 minutes, so only the last 30 minutes they played with 10 men, but still, you saw it was actually in a hard-fought game because it was only 2-1 for Man United by the time they received the red card. So I think they will be tired heading into this game, which is a good spot for Rayo. I like Rayo here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. Real Sociedad in very very bad position at the moment, and the loss against Manchester United, traveling, uh, hard fought game like you said. So yeah, I would go for a Rayo win this time. They're playing at home, so I think they also see that this is a chance for them.
All right, next up, Atletico Madrid hosting Barcelona. Atletico Madrid wins set at 3.25. Barcelona wins set at 2.18. Line for total goals set at 2.5. I think the 2.5 is a little bit low, but it you can see that in the odds because over 2.5 sitting at 1.57, under 2.5 at 2.35. So they're actually expecting the over 2.5, and I'm also expecting the over 2.5. Barcelona, man, absolutely on fire, and they score a lot of goals, so they could hit the over 2.5 by themselves, even if Atletico Madrid were to take a defensive approach. Listen, man, as a lifelong Barcelona hater. I would, I would. There's nothing I'd rather do than step in front of Barcelona, but I have a hard time doing this here. They're in excellent form. What are you doing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say you're a hater, but I would just say you don't you're not a Barcelona enthusiast. So
So something like that.
yeah, so yeah, but yeah, still I don't know. Atletico Madrid, something tells me that they'll win this game. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Atletico. I'm definitely hesitating because you know Barcelona they both played uh, um, during the week in midweek, but still Atletico Madrid they're playing at home. It's a team. It's a game for them that can maybe you know decide the championship. So I would still go for Atletico Madrid.
Okay. Any concerns
Just
about
go for the high odds because I'm just hesitating and just go for the high odds.
yeah, but I have some concerns. The fact that they played midweek against Real Madrid and they lost in, call it dramatic fashion. Usually those teams don't play well in the league the next game because they're still down from losing that game. But I understand they're still in the title race, so they should bounce back. Um, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and if Barcelona can lose a game, you know, this is definitely one of them. So
Yeah. And any thoughts on the total goals over under?
no, definitely over 2.5. So yeah, definitely go over 2.5.
Okay.
But that's why it's just sitting at what 158, 160. So
Yeah. All right. At least we agree on the over 2.5. Now that wraps up La Liga. Let's get to the Premier League. First game, Everton hosting West Ham. Everton wins set at 2.12. West Ham wins set at 4.1. Line for total goals set at 2.5. No, I'm not sure about the over 2.5, but I do think both teams will score in this game. Now, Everton, they've not lost in five, but only one win, right? And the last two games, both just a 1-1 draw, the other one a 2-2 draw. West Ham losing to Newcastle, also a team that hasn't scored a lot over the last four games. Um, Two games they were kept scoreless against Arsenal, only a 1-0 win, and against Leicester City, 2-0 win. But scoring two goals against Leicester City is actually like scoring one or none. So West Ham, I think they will score here. I'm looking. I think actually I would predict another 1-1 draw. I'm going to go with both teams to score here. What are you doing?
yeah, both teams to score or still West Ham, you know, sitting at 4.10 for a win. You know, it's tempting. You know, still, but
You could take a swing.
yeah. No, definitely take a swing, but over 2.5. I'll play it safe for the over 2.5.
All right. I'm not sure I like the over 2.5, but I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you because West Ham, they've allowed 48 goals, so the over 2.5 could hit. But Everton style, very defensive approach, so West Ham, I think they would be lucky to get a goal here. All right. Next up, City hosting Brighton. City wins set at 1.71. Brighton wins set at 4.8. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, listen, man. Um, I have to give you credit here last week. Nottingham Forest against City. High odds. You took a swing. Forest won outright. City's actually kind of on timeout for me. I don't want to go against them at home, but listen, man, they've burned me so much over the last couple of months. I just can't back City here. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. You can back City definitely not. So why not just go for the total goals or yeah, both teams to score. But
It's only
over three,
1.53, so
yeah, yeah. So yeah, but you know, there's still a lot to go. City. You know, it was a disappointing loss against Nottingham. That's for sure. Now they're playing at home. You would think they'll you know maybe try to set the record straight, but you know it will be difficult. But 1.71 still something to try, or did that just both teams to score.
yeah, because at home, over the last what's it, 9 games, only 2 losses against Real Madrid and against Liverpool. And although Brighton is in good form, they're not Liverpool or Real Madrid. And aside from those games, City won all their home games over the last 9 at least. So um, it should be a bounce back spot after the disappointing loss against Nottingham. But listen, man, it seems like every time I put my money on City, I get burned. All
Yeah.
right.
Um, your city is in mine, AC Milan. So
Oh, all right. Next up, Southampton hosting Wolves. Southampton wins set at 4.25. Wolves win set at 1.96. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, listen, man, Wolves not good, not great, especially not on the road. But how can you put your hard-earned money on Southampton? No way, no how. Right now, 5 straight losses. Man, in 4 straight games, they've allowed at least 3 goals. So bad recipe. You can't back Southampton anyway, anyhow. I'm going for Wolves. What are you doing?
yeah, I wouldn't say an easy Wolves win, but I'm giving Southampton a goal. I would say both teams to score, Wolves win. I'm gonna try that one. Southampton, like you said, five. What is it? Five in a row, right?
Yeah, 5 in a row lost, and in
Five in
four
a row.
straight they've allowed at least 3 goals.
Yeah, yeah, at least, and yeah, four two times 4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think 4 games. Yes, but I would give them a go. I would go for the both teams to score. Wolves win.
All right. Next up, Ipswich hosting Forest. Ipswich wins set at 4.2. Forest wins set at 1.98. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Is man. Forest coming off a City win, so obviously on a high. Ipswich 4 straight losses at the moment. These teams already met in the FA Cup a couple weeks ago, and Forest won. Um, now in regular on penalties regulation, it was just a 1-1 draw. So I understand why you would make the odd for Forest a little bit higher, but 1.98 kind of stinks for me. Because Forest, they're sitting dirt in the league and Ipswich is fighting to climb out of relegation. So 1.98 is just stinks. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I was just looking at the over 2.5, sitting at 1.85. I uh, I think I'll go for the over 2.5 because I'm pretty sure both teams will score, and uh, there'll definitely be a winning. I think the difference between them is a little too big, so over 2.5.
All right. Um, I'm not sure about Ipswich scoring. Obviously, the over 2.5 could hit by only Forest alone, but Ipswich, they got shut out at home against Everton, against Crystal Palace, against Newcastle, against Brighton, and against City. So a lot of home games where they've been shut out. So I'm not trusting them to score, but um, I would say I would rather play the over 2.5 than Forest winning because, like I said, 1.98, it just stinks too much. All right. Next up, Bournemouth hosting Brentford. Bournemouth win set at 1.76. Brentford win set at 4.6. Line for total goals 3.5. Now, I'm just playing Bournemouth here. I know over the last 5 games, they haven't looked great. Two losses. But listen, man, the loss against Wolves kind of inflated because after 30 minutes, received a red card, only lost 1-0. And if you look closer at their home record, the loss against Liverpool, okay, you understand that. And then the loss against Wolves, which I just explained. But aside from that, they've been good at home. So I expect them to bounce back here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not doing anything here. For me, it's just one of those games that I just don't feel right. I even thinking of a Brentford win. So yeah, I don't uh, I don't think Bournemouth is gonna win this one. So mm, and over 3.5. Yeah, no, I
No,
don't
that's
think.
a little bit high. I also like the over 3.5, but listen, man, I don't think Brentford's going on the road and beating Bournemouth. No way.
Yeah, just
But
like last week.
yeah, like City and winning against Nottingham.
Oh no, I don't. This game stinks for me.
All right. I think Bournemouth at home 1.76. That's great value. Right, next up, Arsenal hosting Chelsea. Arsenal wins set at 1.84. Chelsea wins set at 4.75. Line for total goal set at 2.5. This man, why the hell is Arsenal favored by that much?
Yes, that's what I. Yeah, rather than okay for Brentford, okay, but Chelsea sitting at 4.7. Come on, you have to play Chelsea. Yeah, right?
Yeah, you just
You just
you just
you
have
know
to play Chelsea.
Chelsea and West Ham, you know, and a Forest win. Yeah, I would definitely go for Chelsea. We don't even have to discuss it. Arsenal, yes, they're playing at home. It's Arsenal, but yeah, only because it's Arsenal.
Yeah, and they're playing at home, but listen, man, overall, 2 wins in the last 7 games, so they're not in great form. And it's not like Chelsea is some low-level team. They're sitting fourth, right? 6 points behind Arsenal. They've actually scored more goals this season than Arsenal. So 4.75, get the hell out of here. I agree with you. Play Chelsea. Big
Yeah.
swing.
Yeah, and it's a derby, so London will be on fire this weekend. That's for sure. Because you also have Fulham Tottenham, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, that's actually the next game. Fulham hosting Tottenham. Fulham wins 2.05, Tottenham 3.75. The line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, listen, man, Tottenham obviously also a team that's really struggling at the moment, just flat out awful. With one thing, they do score goals, so I expect them to score again here. If you take Tottenham over 1.5 goals, you still get 2.38. I think that's great value. Fulham, I would give Fulham the advantage because if you've seen Tottenham play, man, it's hard to get impressed, but by what they're doing. But Fulham at home, they're not great. If you look at Fulham's home record, man, they really struggle at home, and I don't like that for any team. So I would just play the total goals. What are you doing here?
Yeah, but Tottenham, it wasn't a hard-fought game, but still they played against AZ during the week. So I think that will give Fulham the advantage. And they're playing at home. It's a derby, and winning against Tottenham. Now it's something they know that the fans will really like. So I'm going for a Fulham win.
Yeah, and I completely understand why. All right, next up, Leicester City hosting United. Leicester City wins set at 4.6. United wins set at 1.82. A line for total goals set at 2.5. I like the over 2.5 goals here. I know United also not in the best form, but how can you make United 1.82 versus Leicester City that has lost 6 straight games? And all 6 times I told you to bet against Leicester City. And they're just awful. 4 straight games where they haven't even scored a goal. So that's a bad recipe. You're not winning in any game in that way. But I do think after 4 games blank, they should get a goal here. So in over 2.5, I think it's a really good look. What are you doing here?
Um, I'll just go for the Man United win. Yeah, that's a little bit more of a than the over 2.5. So sitting at 1.84. Yeah, I'll just go for a United win. It should be an easy one.
Yeah, I agree with you. United should win this game. If you've seen Leicester City, man, it's just absolutely awful.
Yeah, awful.
All right, that wraps up the Premier League. And listen, man, I have to say, no Monday games. That's actually great for us, right?
Yeah, because we usually skip those also. So
Yeah. All right, that wraps up the Premier League. Let's get to Serie A. First game, Monza hosting Parma. Definitely a game I'm not playing. Just two awful teams, possibly two of the worst teams. What are you doing?
yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna agree with you on this one. Yes, because you can't even look at the over 2.5. Definitely not. So
No.
maybe a 1-1 draw. These are the type of games you can just go for the and a 1-1 draws. This is it.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Udinese hosting Verona. Udinese wins set at 1.77. Verona wins set at 5.4. Line for Zorgo set at 2.5. I don't like the over 2.5, given how Udinese is playing. A lot of 1-0 wins, 1-1 draws, 0-0 draws. But I do think against Verona at home should be another win. They've already won three straight at home. This should make it for Verona on the road. Obviously, not a great team, and overall, even not a great team. On the road, two straight losses, haven't scored in both games. Um, the last road game they scored was against Monza, which I get. Udinese is a little bit better than Monza, so 1.77, good odds. What do you think?
Yeah, 1.77. I agree. It's against Hellas. So Udinese, they haven't lost in six. Two draws, and Hellas Verona. I don't think it's a team that definitely can't win an away game in Udinese. So I would agree with you on this one.
All right, next up, AC Milan hosting Como. AC Milan wins 1.74. Como wins at 4.8. Line for two goals set at 2.5. Listen, man, AC Milan at home should give them the advantage, but I didn't like what I saw last week. Down 2-0 against Lecce. It shouldn't it doesn't get any worse than that. It's Lecce, man. And I know it was a road game. Now they're coming home. Still, Como is a team that can really cause some trouble. Now, Como on the road, not great, but this man, they've beaten Fiorentina on the road and they've beaten Atalanta on the road. For some reason, when they play better teams, they up their game.
And
Um,
they've beaten Napoli, so yeah.
but that was at home. But correct. So I'm not on AC Milan this week. Or are you doing something?
Yeah, I'm not an AC Milan also. Like I just said, um, AC Milan is what City is for you.
All right.
So yeah. So I'm gonna skip this one also.
All right. Next up, Torino hosting Empoli. Torino wins set at 1.85. Empoli wins set at 4.8. Line for goal set at 2.5. Now, if you look at this game, Torino Empoli, obviously not an interesting game. But I do like Torino here, and I think catching 1.85 is good value. Empoli, man, they've won three games over the last, 25 games. But two out of those three wins came in the Coppa Italia. So in the league, only one win against Hellas Verona. This man, and that's not even on the road. That's just overall. So catching Torino at home, 1.85, hosting Empoli. I think it's a good look. What are you doing?
Yeah. I think it doesn't get any better than this, to play Torino. I think 1.85 Torino at home. I would uh, I would agree. Definitely a Torino win.
All right. Next up, Venezia hosting Napoli. Venezia wins set at 6.75. Napoli wins set at 1.54. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Napoli, after five straight games without winning a game, they won again against Fiorentina 2-1. Venezia, obviously an awful team, so a good spot for Napoli to make it two wins in a row over the last five games for Venezia. They've been kept blank in four of those games, so possibly they're not scoring here. What are you doing?
No, they're not scoring, but I would still go for the over 2.5 for the for Napoli. A Napoli win, the value is maybe just a little too low, but I would think about the over 2.5. Napoli, like you said, they haven't won in 5 games. Okay, they won the last game against Fiorentina, but I think this game against Venezia will try to score as much as possible, for the confidence. I hope so. I'm uh, I'm going for the over 2.5.
Like you're taking the over 2.5 and for the game, which it's a good look if for some reason maybe Napoli scores their own goal or something. Then you Napoli scores two, they win 2-1, so you hit the over 2.5. But if you really think Napoli is getting loose, Napoli over 2.5 goals is sitting at 3.2. So that's great value. And even over 1.5 goals for Napoli gives you more value than a Napoli win. Because Napoli over 1.5 goals, 1.71 versus 1.54 for a Napoli win. So I really like Napoli over 1.5 goals.
Yeah, that's good too.
All right. Next up, Bologna hosting Lazio. Bologna win set at 2.43. Lazio win set at 3.35. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Lazio coming off a road game on Thursday. They played at home, but still a little bit of a hard-fought game. And listen, man, if you look at the head-to-head matchups, Bologna-Lazio, the last time Lazio won at Bologna was in 2018. So, man, that's like 7 years ago. That's the reason I don't like Lazio in this game, and also Bologna at home. Now, what's it? Six straight wins. So I like Bologna here in this spot. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. Lazio, playing during the week. So yeah, I would Bologna at home. Like you said, Lazio haven't won there in a while, and coming from a midweek game, it will definitely not make it any easier for them. So um, I would agree on this one. And Bologna is a very good odd.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe combine it with Chelsea.
yeah. Chelsea, West Ham, and Bologna.
Uh,
Uh, if you want to spice it up, take Atletico Madrid also. So
yeah, or even
yeah.
Fulham. So
If that parlay were to hit, man, okay, would be a very good wicket. All right. Next up, Roma hosting Cagliari. Roma wins set at 1.52. Cagliari wins set at 7. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Roma coming off a road game on Thursday where they received a red card after 11 minutes. So I know they're at home now, should win against Cagliari, but playing almost a full game with a man less in a very hard fought game. It's the reason I don't really like them here. Still expect them to win, but I don't think I'll play them. What are you doing?
yeah, maybe the over 2.5. Usually when these two teams play against each other, it seems to, you know, score score a lot of goals on average. So maybe the over 2.5. Just
All
look
right.
at over 2.5.
Next up, Fiorentina hosting Juventus. Fiorentina wins set at 3.35. Juve wins set at 2.2. Line for Torgo set at 2.5. Yes, man. I really like Juve here. Fiorentina coming off a road game, also on Thursday, so short turnaround. Juve got smashed by Atalanta last week, 4-0. But listen, man. Overall, during the season, only one time Juve has lost back-to-back games. They usually bounce back with a win after a loss, and I think getting embarrassed in that fashion by Atalanta. Um, Focus all week, prepare for this game against Fiorentina while Fiorentina had to win against Panathinaikos. I think this is a good spot for Juve. Still on the road, still I like Juve. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm not that sure. I'm not that into Juventus. Um, a draw for them at best, but other than that, man, I think Fiorentina has a better chance of winning. But I would over 2.5. Also not. I'm I'm just thinking of a draw here.
Man, you really even turned. You did a 180 on Fiorentina, man. Like a couple of weeks ago, you couldn't back them against Hellas Verona, and now you're backing them against.
Yeah, but it's Juventus, you know. I
So you think? So you
it's
think?
still Juventus. Juventus isn't one of the teams that shines during. So, you know, they just go for draws or one goal, and but yeah, Fiorentina's playing at home, so it's you know, I still think it won't be. It's not for nothing that Juventus odds is on it's sitting on
Yeah,
2.2. So.
because Fiorentina in name is also inflates the odds, and they're sitting eight, so they're not a bad team. They've lost, but they've won two out of the last seven. Just a 1-0 win against Lecce, and that was even at home. So you can even make a great case for them at home. Lost against Hellas Verona, doesn't get any worse than that. Lost against Como, also lost against Panathinaikos, the first leg of that draw. So listen, man, Fiorentina, no way I could back them. I'm going with Juve.
Okay, we'll see next week then.
Right, next up, Atalanta hosting Inter. Atalanta wins set at 2.7. Inter wins set at 2.75. Line for Torgo set at 2.5. Now, already touched on it. Atalanta coming off a great win, beating Juve. But listen, man, 3 games ago, they smashed Empoli 5-0. Then a draw against Venezia 0-0. Then you smash Juventus again, so I'm not sure where Atalanta is at the moment. I would rather go with Inter. There's a reason this game is a pick'em because obviously two of the best teams in the league. But Inter, man, they have to do everything to keep Atalanta off of them. Atalanta is 3 points behind Inter right now. But one thing I do like is both of these teams they really score. They could put the ball in the net. Although, like I said, 2 games ago, Atalanta 0-0 draw against Venezia, which is not great. But overall, on the season, 63 goals scored for both teams, averaging over 2 goals a game. What are you doing here?
Yeah. I have to compliment you on your stats, but yes, still, I'm thinking a little bit easier here. I'm just going for the Inter win. Atalanta, fabulous win against Juventus. Against Juventus, was that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
right. You know, fabulous win against Juventus, and you know that it was too. You know, they were on clouds, and you know, and the over 2.5. Both teams score a lot, I would say. So yeah, over 2.5 or both teams to score Inter win.
All right. Now that wraps up Serie A. Let's get to the Bundesliga. First game, Union hosting Bayern. Union wins set at 9. Bayern wins set at 1.35. Line for the goal set at 2.5. Now, kind of crazy for Bayern. They've beaten Leverkusen 2 times over the last over the last week. Of course, in the Champions League. But for some reason, they lost to Bochum. I know they received a red card, but you should be able to beat Bochum with 10 men at home. So this should be a bounce back spot for them in the league. 1.35 is actually high for Bayern facing in Union. So I think Bayern will come out on fire as they usually do. Halftime, full-time Bayern, 1.89. I really like that. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think you can look at anything else, but the over 2.5, maybe sitting at 1.54, I would
Yeah, but
look more on
Bayern could hit this over 2.5 just by themselves.
by
So,
itself. Yeah, so that's why I would just go for the over 2.5, I think. Yeah.
all right. Next up, Mainz hosting Freiburg. Mainz wins set at 1.96. Freiburg wins set at 4.25. Line for the goal set at 2.5. Now, Mainz, 4 straight wins, some good wins against Leipzig, against Gladbach. Freiburg also undefeated in 6, but 2 straight games with a 0-0 draw. And obviously on the road, 3 straight games where they haven't lost, but before that, they were just awful. And in those 3 straight road games, the last 3, they've scored 1 goal 2 times, another time, and a 0-0 draw. So, and if you go back even further, the last 4 road games, 2 times they were shut out. So I don't really like them on the road. I like Mainz here. What are you doing?
Yeah, these two teams, they surprised me this season. Mainz sitting on third, Freiburg fifth. So, almost leveled on points. So, yeah, very impressive what these teams are doing this season. But about this weekend, I would uh, I would agree with you. Um, Although I'm still, the over 2.5, this weekend is really interesting. So over 2.5 sitting at 1.10, also the way to go. I would I would rather go for the over 2.5.
And I could also understand why, especially Freiburg and being shut out in back-to-back games. You would expect them to score here again.
Yes.
All right. Next up, Werder Bremen hosting Gladbach. Bremen wins set at 2.28. Gladbach wins set at 3.05. Line for total goal set at 3.5. I definitely don't like the 3.5 over 3.5 goals. Bremen coming off a high, beating Leverkusen 2-0. Before that, they had five straight losses. Gladbach and only two wins in the last five, and usually not a great road team. Not doing anything here. Who do you like?
Yeah, this one, just only because they're playing at home. I would maybe just go for the Werder Bremen, but other than that, I would you would think it would just be a draw, but just go for the home team.
All right. Next up, Augsburg hosting Wolfsburg. Augsburg wins set at 2.45. Wolfsburg wins set at 3.14. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, this is another game where I'll take a big swing and just take the underdog here. Wolfsburg 3.15. Now, overall, Wolfsburg's a better team than Augsburg. They score more, 49 goals versus 28. And Augsburg, over the last six games, man, they've been shut out in four of those games. So you're obviously also coming off a road win against Dortmund, which I have to give you credit. The odds were like more than 6-1. So that was a great pick by you. But now against Wolfsburg, a team that's locked in, um, I think Wolfsburg will win this game. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, I think I would agree with you on this one. Because a win against Dortmund, it's still a very high grab, So I would after a win against Dortmund, it will be a disappointing weekend for Wolfsburg, I'm afraid, this weekend. So I want Wolfsburg also.
All right. Next up, Leipzig hosting Dortmund. Leipzig wins set at 2.5. Dortmund wins set at 2.8. Line for Torgo set at 3.5. Now, Dortmund, don't know if their focus is still on the league, but they do have a chance to make the gap a little bit closer because they're 4 points behind Leipzig at the moment. Dortmund, man, they haven't been great overall over the last couple of weeks. But Leipzig also a team that's struggling, only one win in the last five. Got a 0-0 draw against Freiburg last time out, and a couple of games ago also a 0-0 draw against Augsburg. And if you go back a little bit even further, a 0-0 draw against the Union. So not sure. And I think the over 3.5 is a little bit inflated here. I think it should be under 3.5. What are you doing here?
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Over the 3.5 is maybe just a little bit too much. But Dortmund, hard fought game against Lille during the week. It wasn't easy. So I think that's something Leipzig can really take advantage of. So I would uh, I would go for the Leipzig win. Very good odds.
I would agree there. All right, next up, Bochum hosting Frankfurt. Bochum wins set at 3.3. Frankfurt wins set at 2.2. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Frankfurt beating Ajax, good win. But beating Ajax is the only thing they've done over the last 5 games because they lost to Bayern Munich, lost to Leverkusen, 4-0 and 4-1, and then turn around and lose to Union. So not great in the league. So 3 straight losses, and this against Bochum, man. I guess you just have to bounce back. I know Bochum's also fighting to get out the relegation spot. So, but Frankfurt, they just have to win again. And catching Frankfurt at 2.2, great spot. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. Frankfurt, definitely Frankfurt. Against Ajax wasn't that difficult, so it wasn't. They were just pedaling along. So I would I would just go for a Frankfurt win here. Bochum, yeah, they're in trouble, but they'll have to look for another team to get their points.
All right. Next up, Heidenheim hosting Kiel. Obviously not doing anything in that game. Number 17 versus number 18.
Yeah, no.
All right. Okay, so let's get to the last game. Stuttgart hosting Leverkusen. Stuttgart wins set at 3.05. Leverkusen wins set at 2.35. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Leverkusen a little bit in trouble. 3 straight losses. And the thing that surprised me is 3 straight games without scoring a goal. So that's not good. But after being knocked out of the Champions League, they shift their focus to the league. And although Stuttgart is overall a good team, Stuttgart's also struggling at the moment. Just 2 wins in the last 9 games, also 4 straight without a win. So I think overall Leverkusen's still a better team, and I would give them the edge here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I would say Stuttgart is struggling a lot more than Leverkusen. Leverkusen, yeah, losing against Bayern. That's yeah, 2 times. 5-0 in total. But that's really not what they expected. But the loss against Werder, I think that one was a painful one. So. Against Stuttgart, they can do nothing else than bounce back. And losing 3 in a row, yeah, it won't be 4 in a row. I don't think so. So I would buy Leverkusen win.
Yeah, I agree there. I really like them this week. All right, now that wraps up Bundesliga, and that wraps up all picks and leans. Of course, at the end, quick recap for the bets we really like. I like Real Madrid to win. I like Betis to win. I like Napoli over 1.5 goals. Juve to win. Bayern Munich halftime, full time. Mainz, Freiburg, both teams to score. And for the Leverkusen game, I like 2 bets: Leverkusen to win and also Leverkusen over 1.5 goals. What do you got?
I'm starting with 3 teams in the Premier League: Chelsea, Fulham, Manchester United. Those 3.
All right.
And just going for PSV win and both teams to score, Twente win, Real Madrid win, and of course Atletico Madrid. I'm perfect. Yes.
All right. Now that wraps up all picks and leans. And like we all say, guys, bet smart, bet with your head, set your limits, and stay within your means. Like we said, next week off, international break, so we will see you after that. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah, good weekend, everybody.